Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something huge, an idea that literally shapes the world we live in, and it all started thousands of years ago in this one ancient city. Pretty cool, right? But first, let me ask you something. What if you got to vote on every single rule at your school or your job? I'm talking everything. The price of coffee in the break room, when deadlines are due, no bosses, no managers, just you and everyone else making the call. Can you even imagine what that would be like? Now, you might think that sounds like some wild new idea, right? Well, it's not. Not even close. This is a concept that's been cooking for over 2,500 years. So yeah, let's jump in our time machine and see where it all began. Okay, so our story kicks off in a place you've definitely heard of. Ancient Athens, right in the heart of Greece. This is the spot. This is where the whole idea of rule by the people really got its start. So way back in the 6th century BCE, the Athenians came up with this totally revolutionary way to run their city. And believe it or not, the basic ideas they came up with, we're still talking about them, arguing about them, and using them all over the world today. And let's just break down the word itself, because it's super telling. Democracy actually comes from two old Greek words, demos, which means the people, and kratos, which means rule. Put them together, and what do you get? Rule by the people. It's right there in the name. The system they had in Athens was something we now call a direct democracy. And when I say direct, I mean direct. There were no representatives, no one you elected to go vote for you. Nope. If you were a citizen who could vote, you literally had to show up at the assembly, you got to debate the issues yourself, and you cast your own vote. It was totally hands-on. But, and this is a huge but, there was some serious fine print. When the Athenians talked about demos, the people, who were they actually talking about? Well, take a look at this. The group that actually had any political power, the male citizens who were allowed to vote, made up only about 15% of the entire population. Just a tiny slice. Women? Nope. Slaves? Absolutely not. People who were born elsewhere? No say at all. So the vast majority of people living in Athens were completely left out. But even with all those restrictions, you have to understand how radical this was for its time. I mean, think about the alternatives. You had monarchies, where one king or queen calls all the shots, or aristocracies, where a small group of super-rich nobles are in charge. Compared to that, giving power to any group of regular citizens was a mind-blowing shift. So to really get a feel for what this was like, let's try to make this ancient idea a little more tangible. Let's bring it into our world. Okay, remember that question I asked at the start? Let's go back to that, but let's shrink it down to a classroom. Imagine there's a problem that everyone needs to solve. Maybe there's only one computer everyone wants to use, or you have to figure out how to share the cool new art supplies. So in our little classroom assembly, we do it the Athenian way. Step 1, the problem is laid out for everyone. Step 2, all the students, our citizens for the day, get to propose their own solutions. Then step 3, you all debate the ideas. What are the pros? What are the cons? And finally, step 4, the whole class votes. Directly, majority rules, and bam, that's the new classroom rule. No need to go through a student council rap or anything. See? Doing something like this really gives you a hands-on feel for the power of it all, knowing your voice was actually heard. But you probably also feel the challenges, right? It can get messy, it takes a lot of time, and you have to be willing to compromise. And that brings us to a really important question. If direct democracy is, rule by the people in its purest form, why don't massive countries like the United States do it this way? Why don't we all vote on everything? Well, it really comes down to one word: scale. A direct democracy can work in a small city-state like Athens, or in our classroom example. But for a huge, complex country, it's just not practical. That's why most modern democracies, like the US, use what's called a representative system. So instead of us voting on every single law, we elect people, mayors, senators, a president, to represent us and vote on our behalf. I mean, just think about it. Can you imagine trying to get over 330 million people to all debate and vote on every single law? It would be chaos. It's just impossible. So representative democracy is really an evolution of that original Athenian idea, just adapted for a much, much bigger world. All right, so let's do a quick recap. Democracy means rule by the people, an idea that got its start in ancient Athens. But remember, their version was a direct democracy, and it was super exclusive. Today, most big democracies are representative. We elect people to make decisions for us. It's a system that's built on those ancient ideas, but changed to fit our modern world.
So that leaves us with one final thing to think about. The Athenians gave us this powerful, world-changing idea of power to the people, an idea that's been growing and evolving for 2,500 years. So my question to you is, what does that idea really mean to you today?